कथयां चक्रतुर्गाथः पूर्वा गुरुकुले सतो आत्मनोर्ललिता राजन् करौ गृह्य परस्परम्. This is continuing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 80, Text 27. Kathayam Chakraturgathaha. So, Sudama and Krishna are meeting now, and in their meeting, they are discussing with each other. They are discussing the Gatha, the subject about Purva Gurukule Sato. So, at the past, see, generally, when we meet, if there is a meeting after a long time, what do we discuss? We discuss memories of the past. Purva Guluk Atmano, Lalita, Rajan, the charming, the sweet, the pleasant subjects. They started discussing Karau Gruhya Parasparam. Among themselves, they talked about their times in the Gurukul, and they were holding their hands. So now holding hands is again a sign of intimacy. So it's interesting. Now past times, they're talking about their past times, and when they're talking about the past times, it is largely based on the idea this becomes a pastime for us. The word pastime is used in a mundane sense as something which is a way to pass time. But if you consider the word pastime and pastimes, pastime has a negative and a positive connotation. The negative connotation is something which is a way to pass time. So, like say, baseball may be considered to be America's national pastime. So, it is considered a recreation. That is one way in which the word pastime is used. Now, Srila Prabhupada used the word pastime also in the sense, especially to describe the word Leela. So it is divine play. Now Krishna does not have work to do, and because he does not have work to do, so he can do Leela. And when he does Leela, that Leela becomes very nourishing and joyful for devotees to hear and relish. Of course, Krishna performs wonderful activities. So Prabhupada uses the word divine play in the sense that it is non-obligatory work. It is not obligatory. It is not work. It is not obligation. This Krishna does because he likes to do it. So, but sometimes recreation has the word frivolous connotation. So Krishna's activity is not frivolous. It is glorious. So that glorious activity that Krishna does, the supreme activity in which not only he gets joy, but everyone can get joy. So here we are discussing the Krishna Sudama pastime. But if we take the word pastime in the sense that there what is happening is within the pastime. So if we consider this is the whole pastime, Krishna Sudama pastime. So now what are they doing? They are spending time talking about past times. The past time that they spent together in the Gurukul. So within the Krishna Sudama pastime, they are discussing about their pastimes. Generally, when we meet, discussing about the pastimes, what does it do? The pastime that we had spent together, actually that does many things. that shows the other person after a long meeting that we remember, and that, and when you show we remember, that also shows we care, that I have not forgotten you, I remember you, and that not only that I remember you, that I care, but it's also it is also, it's we relish, we rejoice, we relish. Oh, those were such sweet times, those were such wonderful times. So generally, if we consider in this particular context, we often talk about the good old days. Now, the life in general is checkered. There are good and bad times. We rejoice. Now, is the past better than the present? No. The past has dualities, the present has dualities. But generally, in our memory, we remember the good times. We may remember some difficult incidents during those times also, and that's fair enough. But those also, if there's some shared adventure, some shared trouble, some shared difficulties, that also brings joy, because we went through it together. This is how we experienced it. So when we talk about the past time, we remember, we rejoice, and thus we reconnect. Because life may have taken us in different directions. And when we talk with each other, we may talk about where a person is right now. But and understanding each other about where we are and how life has taken us in different directions, that may be very interesting to know about. Now, if we consider from the Gurukul, Krishna's path has taken him to a place of great material power and prosperity. So Krishna is material prosperity. That is, life's journey has taken Krishna. Of course, Krishna is in charge, so it's not that life journey has taken Krishna. It is Krishna has just manifested his supreme prosperity. So life has taken both of them in very different directions, and yet they are reconnecting so joyfully over here. So now what is happening is, if you consider this, there is huge diversity over here. Whenever we want a relationship, there has to be some commonality. The difference, the diversity in the scale of their material level of, it's not just level is difference, but the scale of difference is huge also. That was what astonished the residents of the Antahapura. Who is this Brahman? He must have done some great punya by which he has got the such personal proximity and respect given by Krishna. And then Hasta Karau Gruhya Parasparam, they are holding their hands. Now we can contrast this with another example of Drupada and Drona. We know that when they met after a long time, there are several similarities, in the sense that both of them were the same Gurukul. They were both, we could say, co-Gurukul students. And then both, one of them was a king and he had become very powerful. The other, again, there was a huge difference between them, their present status. And yet, there what happened? The Drupada was quite disrespectful towards Drona, and instead of that friendship becoming instead of they reconnecting and the friendship becoming stronger, actually the friendship became from friends. They became, if they're friends, they did not become better friends. They actually became bitter. Drona felt insulted, and Drona had a genuine need, which was not at all fulfilled, and things went on a very dark track over there. So we could say this is Drupada's unfortunate arrogance, which led him to a lot of tribulation. So after that, how did things move forward? They didn't actually. The enmity developed, and ultimately Drona tried to humiliate Drupada, succeeded, sometimes didn't succeed. Then Drona killed Drupada, and Drona's son killed Drona. And bitter, it was like it became a feud that went over generations. It was a feud to death till both were killed. That was quite terrible and tragic. So we see that the referring this in the Sudama, Krishna Sudama pastime itself is disharmonious and distasteful and distressing, because that's not what happened with Krishna Sudama, was the exact opposite. But the point we are making is this is how Krishna and Sudama are, the sweetness comes out through contrast. So the key point over here is twofold, that when we reconnect, often talking about the past times shows that that we remember, that we we rejoice, and then we can reconnect through that. 3 hours about it, and then Krishna's graciousness and Krishna's respectfulness, that also stands out when contrasted with Drupada's gracelessness in terms of his arrogance. So for all of us, from Krishna's example, we can also cherish our friendships, and more importantly for us, we can also learn to appreciate how the Lord cares for us, how the Lord is loving. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.